Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And a beautiful look outside our weather window. Black Mountain Sky-Fi Tower camera. That's near Peshastin, overlooking the beautiful Cascade. Just a hint of a sunset this afternoon. A few clouds out there as well. We started off with lots of clouds and some showers this morning, and then sunshine this afternoon, and that allowed our temperatures to climb above normal once again today. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But after the next couple of days of dry weather, we have some rain to tell you about. Not a whole lot. In fact, Wenatchee, we might see 1/10 of an inch of precipitation out of this storm system as it moves through. We're talking about a storm that's coming in Friday. It will linger throughout the weekend. Most of the heavier rain is in the orange and gold colors you see on that map. So basically western Washington, as I mentioned, just a chance for some sprinkles here. And we will talk about that much more coming up in your weather forecast later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. An East Wenatchee man who allegedly acted as a bookmaker on pro football and basketball games was arrested last week. 4 north central Washington cities will share in a $4 million pot of state money to cope with their affordable housing needs. And Wenatchee Executive Services Director Allison Williams is one of 3 finalists to be the next Moses Lake City Manager. But first, we begin tonight. NCWLIFE News has learned a Wenatchee Valley attorney already facing DUI and domestic violence charges in Douglas County is also charged with a federal crime. NCWLIFE Jefferson Robbins has this report.
Paul Kuby, a partner in the East Wenatchee law firm of Lacey, Kane & Kuby, was arrested September 5th in Yosemite National Park after witnesses allegedly saw him punch his wife in the face while the two were staying in a park campsite. Park rangers who investigated said Kuby was visibly drunk and his wife had a bruise under her eye. Domestic assault in a national park is a federal offense. Rangers cited Kuby on charges of assault, intoxication, and disorderly conduct, which could carry up to a 5-year prison sentence. He's expected to plead not guilty later this month before a federal judge. He was ordered to wear an ankle monitor when he returned home to East Wenatchee. Kuby was already facing multiple legal problems at home. In late September, Douglas County prosecutors charged him with second-degree assault for a July incident in which he allegedly broke his wife's nose. And in early October, a Douglas County judge sent him to jail for drinking alcohol multiple times, despite a 2014 court agreement that kept a DUI off his record. He's due to be released from the Chelan County Jail November 24th. Any conviction on either the local or federal assault case could lead to a suspension of Kuby's law license and possible disbarment. Steve Lacey, a senior partner at Kuby's law firm, said Tuesday that Kuby has continued to practice law on work release and would remain a partner as long as he's not convicted of a crime. Jefferson Robbins, NCWLIFE.
An East Wenatchee man who allegedly acted as a bookmaker on pro football and basketball games was arrested last week. Agents with the State Gambling Commission said Siasit Matrichet took bets up to $200 each on 4 games between fall of 2016 and summer of 2017. He paid off winnings and accepted fees for the service. He was released on his own recognizance after appearing in Douglas County Superior Court on Friday. No charges have yet been filed. 4 north central Washington cities will share in a $4 million pot of state money to cope with their affordable housing needs. The Department of Commerce granted $17,000 to the city of Wenatchee, almost $16,000 to East Wenatchee, and $30,000 to Chelan. Those grants will pay for changes to municipal housing codes to help encourage affordable housing in those cities. Leavenworth will use its share of the grants, $45,800, to develop an overall housing action plan. Altogether, 52 communities got a piece of that action. The grant program was authorized by the legislature to deal with Washington's housing crisis. Wenatchee Executive Services Director and longtime city employee Allison Williams is one of 3 finalists to be the next Moses Lake City Manager. Williams, who has held her post within the city of Wenatchee since 2005, will join the other 2 finalists at a community reception Monday in Moses Lake. The other finalists are Howard Stewart, he's city manager of Warrensburg, Missouri, and Adam Hammett, former city manager of Whitefish, Montana. Moses Lake City Manager John Williams resigned in June after claims of harassment were filed by 6 current and former female employees. Allison Williams also was one of 4 finalists for the Port of Chelan director position last year. Coming up next tonight at Pybus Market, local mental health experts will be offering advice to parents and others on how to spot adolescent depression. That moose that's been hanging around the Haran Natural Area in North Wenatchee since July has prompted a warning from the state. And if you have a great idea for a theme for the 2020 Chelan County Fair, submit it and you may win passes and wristbands. I'm Grant Olson and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Are the rumors true, Corey?
Yes, they are, and you're going to love what we're doing at Sangster Buick GMC. Hi, Corey Sangster with a special offer. $49 down delivers. At Sangster Buick GMC, just $49 down and you're driving the vehicle of your dreams. Save thousands with below-market financing during our year-end closeout. Yes, the rumors are true. Just $49 down delivers. Choose your vehicle and compare equipment, price, and warranty at Sangster Buick GMC or online at sangstermotors.com. Where caring about your family brings you back to ours.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging in Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
At some point, we realized that value and practicality go hand in hand. A time when an unnoticed accumulation of items has become burdensome. These possessions still have value, but now lack usefulness. Donate your unwanted items to Goodwill and become a job creator. Your donations allow Goodwill to provide much-needed training to job seekers in our community, and that's pretty useful for everyone. Be a job creator. Donate. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
Welcome back. In another news, tonight, local mental health experts will be offering advice to parents and others on how to spot adolescent depression. The free public event will start at 7 p.m. in the local Events Center at Pybus Public Market. The panel discussions are sponsored by Columbia Valley Community Health, Columbia Pediatrics, and the Wenatchee School District. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz sat down with CVCH's Catherine Bohm and licensed mental health counselor Abigail Shepard to get a glimpse into some of the subjects they'll be talking about.
Tuesday the 12th, what's going to be your topic of conversation, Abby?
So for me, it's really thinking about depression in context. So like I said, I'm really looking at the whole picture and what that means. And so for many teens, it's in their relationships. And so what does depression mean in the context of a family system, and how do we get our parents to better engage with their teens and start asking those difficult questions in order to connect and build their relationships?
Teens go through all kinds of crazy periods. Hormones run amok. It's a crazy time to be a person. But how do you know, oh, this is just a phase and Sally will be out of it in a couple weeks, or I think maybe we have an issue here. Is it never too early to start talking about this stuff? Or
I think that is the big question, is what is in the range of normal and what's just hormonal. Even if it is just hormonal, maybe it's a good time to start developing some of those coping skills, learning how to connect, learning how to open up with that with parents rather than isolating, shutting down, spending more time in their room, just looking at the device. But how do we connect in those times?
All kids go through the I don't fit in period. And then they go the exact opposite and try to fit into everything. I'm a loner and I don't really, now I want to be in this group and that group and that group. Everybody wants to be accepted by their peers. Is that one of the biggest tipping points, is that they don't feel like they're accepted by their peers in any clique or group, or is that something that parents should keep an eye on?
I think part of it is acceptance, and then I think the other part of it is it's just a huge time for identity formation. So it's not so much where do I fit in, it's more of a question of who am I and what does that mean and how do I connect with who I am and where do I fit in my family and in this world.
Well, that moose that's been hanging around the Horan Natural Area in North Wenatchee since July has prompted a warning from the state. Though the yearling cow moose may appear docile, it should be treated with caution and respect, the Department of Fish and Wildlife said. The Chelan PUD will be closing a section of trail in the area earlier than usual this year, both to protect nesting bald eagles and to reduce encounters with the moose. Wildlife officials believe the moose wandered into the area after leaving its mother, which typically happens when they're a year old. It's a wild animal and close encounters should be avoided. Fish and Wildlife warns if you're charged by a moose, get behind a tree or a large rock. Signs a moose is about to charge is if the hair on its neck is raised, its ears are pulled back, and it's snorting and licking its snout. Here are some tips if you encounter a moose. Keep dogs on leashes and under control. Moose see dogs as predators. Females will defend calves aggressively, so give them a wide berth. Be aware of surroundings and avoid surprising a moose. If a moose reacts to your presence, you're too close. Take photos and watch moose only from a distance at least 50 yards away. Always yield the trail to moose. Don't approach them, and if a moose approaches you, back away immediately. Well, do you have a great idea for a 2020 Chelan County Fair theme? If it's a good one, you could win a family pass as well as 2 carnival wristbands for next year's fair. Thursday is the final day to submit your ideas, which you can do on the Chelan County Fair Facebook page. The 2019 theme was From Pioneer Days to Modern Ways. In 2018, it was Bales, Pails, and Wagging Tails. Among the ideas submitted thus far for 2020 are Country Pride County-wide. How about Yippee-Ki-Yo, Here We Go, and Barn in the USA. Also perhaps a long shot contender, Cows and Chicks and Country Hicks. Sounds good. The winner will be announced on Friday. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. From constitutional law to learning how to march in formation, cadets enrolled in the Criminal Justice Program at Wenatchee Valley Tech Center get the full experience in the military-style training course. In tonight's feature story, NCWLIFE's Caitlin Heddersheet tells us more about the program as part of this week's NCWLIFE magazine.
The center is run in 2 shifts, the morning session and the afternoon session. Mr. Loetta told me to stop by this afternoon session on Friday for 2 reasons. Number 1, the afternoon class is much more awake, he said. And number 2, Fridays are inspection days. To be honest, I wasn't sure what an inspection day meant, but I figured it'd be good.
When they come in, they know already a basic routine. They know they have to be at their desk with their Chromebooks ready to go when the second bell rings. If not, there's consequences because we run the program like an academy. So my students I call cadets, like we do in the police academy. Today is Friday. Today is the end of the unit that we've been studying all week, constitutional law. Okay, we have to begin with the basic knowledge of what the Constitution is and how it controls the laws that govern us. Hello, Bell.
And there's the class bell. When students, or cadets as he calls them, arrive, Mr. Loetta has them complete an entry task to get the class thinking.
It might be a question that's in our society today, like, what are your stance on gun control? And with a diverse class that I have, it is sometimes split right down the middle. Should we have gun control or not? And their answers vary.
I've got to sit in on a lot of those, and I will tell you, sometimes I'm like, that's kind of a big issue to tackle. However, the way that Mr. Loetta actually manages and runs those discussions, I walk away just thinking, wow, these kids can have big conversations.
I do not give my opinion on the matter because I don't want my opinion to influence them. I want them to do their research and come up with their own opinions on the entry task. We'll do the roll call, and then we'll do Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, and so after that we go into our lecture. But today there's no lecture because today's Friday. Today's inspection day, and it's testing day.
On inspection and testing days, Mr. Loetta is giving his cadets the opportunity to show him what they've learned. Today, the class worked in teams for a review before the test, getting a little competition into the classroom. Remember, Mr. Loetta says he keeps the class moving, so the winning group for each round would relax as the rest of the students ran laps in the parking lot. He incorporates this idea into consequences when cadets fail to meet expectations, but it's not a punishment.
Oh, I call it corrective action. Straight out of police academy, straight out of the military basic training. If you don't do something right, you're going to do push-ups or squats or whatever else I can think of as a corrective action. If it's a lap, because the weather's so nice, they'll go for a lap. They know already what's going to happen, so they know as soon as they don't meet expectations, they're running. Some of them will even start stretching before I even say go.
Following the testing portion of today's class, the cadets need to get ready for inspection beyond just their notebooks. From how they've hung their uniforms in storage to putting them on along with a utility belt, these students really do get the full experience.
We have two uniforms. One is a work uniform that just entails the physical fitness shirt and their cargo pants, but today it's their duty uniform. Light blue, it looks like a police uniform. And their utility belt, which has some pretty realistic looking equipment on. It's got the taser, it's got pepper spray, real handcuffs, it's got a training pistol, which I emphasize are to be treated as real tools. So when we do our inspection, they get into a formation. So they've learned basic formations. They know how to space themselves. They know where to be, and we've assigned squad leaders for the week. So my squad leaders assist their squad in making sure they're dressed right and that they know the testing material for the day.
Time now to take a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Before we get to that, let's take a look at today's facts and figures. 50 degrees, our unofficial high temperature today. That's above 46 where we should be for this time of year. Right in the ballpark as far as low temperatures go. 34 this morning, 33 is normal. 63 degrees, our record high. Do you remember it? Back in 2016, record low 12 degrees in 1985. The sun will set this afternoon at 4:29. Let's take a look at that surface loop now. Begin with tonight. Partly cloudy skies. We will see light winds out there tonight. Really not a lot to talk about. Most of the activity from today's rain will be in Montana with some snow showers there. We're keeping an eye on this next frontal system though as it moves a little bit closer to our area. As we get into Wednesday, here's some fog and we will see that around North Central Washington. It will be mostly sunny then by this afternoon as that fog burns off. Pretty much the same scenario as we get into our Thursday forecast. Once again, some patchy morning fog, a 20% 20% chance for PM showers, because here's the next storm system as it moves a little bit closer to the shoreline of Washington. That will be late in the afternoon and early evening, that 20% chance of showers. Also a 20% chance of rain on Friday with partly cloudy skies. The thing is, though, we will see high pressure bring in warm temperatures, though, so we're not going to get that chilly. Saturday, mostly cloudy. It will be mild. We will see a 30% chance of rain showers late. Here's our next storm system with lots of heavy rain right here in British Columbia, and all of that will sag down as we get into our Sunday. This is the best shot we will see of some rain showers. Mostly cloudy, very warm, though. Temperatures in the 50s, a 40% chance for light rain, and you can see the yellows. That's almost 60 degrees in many parts of Washington State on Sunday. By Monday and early next week, mostly cloudy. Once again, a 30% chance of light rain showers as all of that sinks to the south. Once again, good news, it will remain mild with high temperatures in the lower 50s. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling 7-day forecast. 33 the overnight low, 46 for Wednesday and Thursday. A beautiful Friday and weekend ahead. A little bit wet at times, 53 for Sunday, and by Monday, mostly cloudy and 52. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Some jobs take more than skill. They require something deeper, an innate devotion to the communities in which we live. At Gisa Credit Union, we help you support law enforcement, firefighters, teachers, and veterans. With every purchase you make with a Gisa Local Heroes Affinity debit card, we make a donation to select organizations. After all, we can never repay them, but we can do our best to help a little with the Gisa Local Heroes Affinity debit card.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
Only one dealership in Wenatchee has Motor Trend's SUV of the Year and Truck of the Year. That's right, Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram has the all-new Jeep Wrangler and the all-new Ram 1500 pickup. Or get the best of both worlds in the new Jeep Gladiator. Visit Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram today for more information on these award winners and see why there's no reason to leave town to buy your next vehicle.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. I don't know about you, but as a Seahawk fan, I'm worn out. No unbeaten teams left in the NFL thanks to Seattle's 27-24 overtime win over San Francisco on Monday Night Football last night. Jason Myers' 42-yard field goal as time expired in overtime was the game winner in a crazy back-and-forth ball game that saw a little bit of everything. There were 7 turnovers between the two teams, including a 10-yard scoop and score by Jadeveon Clowney.
It ain't over till it's over. I thought they could have won the game. They missed the field. I was so happy about that. For us, we got it. We turned the ball over going down for it. It was so much going on. It was the craziest game of my career, hands down. 4 or 5 quarters, I almost went to a tie. 4 quarters in overtime, went to a tie, and it could have been a tie, but we game out with a dub. Our kicker made up from last week. Big win for him. I'm happy for him. Because you know how it is when you're a kicker in this league. But it's rough on him. But I'm so excited for our kicker after what happened last week. But we back where we need to be in this division, and we just got to keep playing from here, keep growing.
Clowney and the Seahawks defense sacked Jimmy Garoppolo 5 times, forcing him to fumble once and threw 1 interception. Coach Pete Carroll was extremely pleased with how his defense adjusted as the game went along.
It took us all the way till there was nothing left, and it was a beautiful job of hanging. And what I really liked about this game was the way it started and then the surge that happened in the middle of it when our guys went 8 straight drives without letting them get anything going on defense. Kenny did a fantastic job tonight with our guys. We had to adjust from right off the start, and the guys took to it. We did some different things that, other than the plan called for, and we wound up sacking them 5 times tonight and getting after the quarterback like we had hoped to, and maybe this is the start that we've been looking for with our pass rush. There was a really good rush tonight. I thought Jadeveon Clowney was fantastic tonight. Just when he was close, he was causing problems, and he scored again. So I really love what the defense did during this night, and it's important to us, really important to us the way we played. It's a great running football team. We held them to, I don't know, 70, 80 yards, whatever the heck it was. That's a big night by the guys up front and by the linebackers, and when we needed it most, it was really a big night. So there's a lot of really cool things about this game that are kind of the subtle stuff. The obvious is hanging with Jason Meyer. So what a great, thrilling night for him. To come through and make his kicks and make his winning kick and all that and kick the ball deep all night long. A lot goes into that, and I think it was for us that follow us really closely, not for maybe the outside media, but it's a great illustration of his teammates supporting him throughout. In the locker room immediately last week, they were supporting him so that he would be ready to do this that we needed tonight and come through. There's nothing better than coming through like that in the clutch, and so we're thrilled by the night that he had.
Russell Wilson completed 24 of his 34 passes for 232 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. That pick came in overtime as Seattle looked like they were driving for the game winner.
Craziest game I've ever been a part of. I mean, talking about a Monday Night Football game, it felt like an NFC Championship game right there. Just back and forth, two great teams going after it. Get the ball in overtime and go down. We're moving the ball really well. I think I have Hollister for a touchdown, and they make a great play. 2 inches higher, I think we have a touchdown, game over. Then our defense goes out there, stops them, and then they miss the field goal. We get the ball back, whatever, and find a way to win. They in there, get the big first down, and then we move the ball, and Jay Mai comes up big with a game-winning field goal. Headsets off, this is it, game's over, no matter what, tie or win or whatever it may be. And, I think the great thing about this game for our football team was just the resilience. We've had it all year. We've been, I think, the toughest team in terms of a resilience all year. In my opinion, I think that just how we stay encouraged, how we stay focused, how we just keep having the faith and keep believing that something great's going to happen. I think our defense played great throughout the night in a tough environment, tough game. We made plays when we needed to, and we knew it was going to come down to the wire. I said it earlier in the week, I thought it was going to come down the wire. Didn't think it was going to come down to overtime, no more time on the clock kind of wire, but that's just a true amazing moment, wildest game, most amazing game I've been a part of for sure.
Seattle improved to 8-2 with a win, now have a bye week, and they need it to rest up, and we'll see about Tyler Lockett, how he's doing with that bad bruise of his lower leg. They'll be in Philadelphia on Sunday the 24th for Sunday Night Football. That's next up for the Seahawks. Well, the Wenatchee Panthers take their next step in the postseason tonight when they travel to Gonzaga Prep for the first round of the state 4A soccer tournament. Wenatchee is 12-6 after win over Moses Lake to keep their season alive last Saturday. Gonzaga Prep is 17-2, the top team out of the GSL. Kickoff at 5:30. Cascade Kodaks begin the first round of the 1A state tournament tonight at Leiboftel Field at the Apple Bowl. Cascade takes its 11-6 record up against 14-1-1 Warriors. Kickoff at 6:30. Eastmont Wildcats will host the Meade Panthers in a first-round game at Wildcat Stadium. Eastmont finished the season 13-2, while Meade 15-4. Kickoff tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. You can watch the game on the NCWLIFE channel starting at 6:30. Well, we now know the schedule for the weekend ahead for the state football playoffs. So let's take a look. Wenatchee plays at Red Memorial Stadium Friday night at 7 o'clock against Kennedy Catholic. Eastmont will have a 2 o'clock afternoon kickoff at Doc Harris Stadium against Camas. Cashmere will face LaSalle Friday night at 7 in the state 1A tournament at Marquette Stadium. Omak will host Colville Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. And the 2B tournament begins Friday for Brewster at Unalaska at 6. Lake Roosevelt hosts Friday Harbor Saturday at noon. And in the 1B tournament, Etienne hosts Cusick at 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. So there you go. Now we know. That's Look at Sports. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. Now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, Grant. The Wenatchee School District's all-district musical is Matilda this year, and on Thursday night, it is opening night. And tomorrow, we're going to replay the interview I did with the director of Matilda, Paul Atwood, and the two Matildas. That's right, there are two lead actresses in this musical. It's very entertaining, it's very high energy, and you'll get to know the cast members and our chit-chat with Paul Atwood. We're talking Matilda tomorrow in advance of Thursday's opening night, plus everything else you're used to, including the weather forecast, news, sports, and everything else. Start your day with us here on the NCWLIFE channel. Wake up in Wenatchee Valley live tomorrow at 7 a.m. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Dan, and that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.